Now, what exactly is a crossover point and why is it so important? It's not that complex at all, but it's super important that you actually understand this. The crossover point is literally when your passive income finally, after usually years of work, crosses the threshold between how much money you actually need to live. So basically saying that if I need $2,000 to live and my passive income finally hits $2,001, well, that is the crossover point. It's the point where you make more money passively than you need to actually spend on your normal expenses. Now, why is this so important? Because once you make more money passively than you actually need to spend, then in reality, you no longer have to work for money. Now, the crossover point uses three variables, although it sounds pretty mathematical. It's really not, and I don't want you to be scared. But before I get into even more detail and show you a graph and show you how to actually get there even faster, I want you guys to do me a favor, and that is smash the like button. It helps out a lot. Now, as you actually watch this video, there's something else that I actually want you to do. Grab a piece of paper and a pen, or grab your phone or a laptop, whatever you actually have access to right now. And as I'm talking to you guys, I want you to actually do these equations yourself, because it's not one of those videos where you're going to learn something very complex, but you're going to learn something very simple that can basically affect your life forever. All right, so the very first variable is going to be your income. So how much money do you actively make by trading your time for money? That is the first thing you want to calculate. Now, obviously, here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to just say, well, I make around $3,000 a month. I'm going to put that in there. No, I want you to go back 12 months. Yes, 12 months, 12 full months from today. So right now, as I'm making this video, it's basically March. So I want to look back all the way to March of last year. That's the idea. Now, how do I actually get this? Well, if you get direct deposit, then you can check the history of all the times money has hit your account. That is your income, my friends. Then I want you to basically put that. So March, I made X. February, I made X, and just keep going down for those 12 months. And now you have history. You know exactly how much money you are making. Then I want you to do something else. This is literally the money that hits your account, hopefully after taxes, because that's a number I actually want after taxes. And then next to that number, I want you to basically tell me how many hours per day do you actually work. Now, the average person, that's going to be a 9 to 5, usually an 8-hour shift, which usually means around 160 hours every single month. Now, I'm not going to go into super detail about how to get this number lower and a whole bunch of other things. That's not what this video is about. I'll make another video about that, how to stop working for money. But the idea is, I want you to then divide what you've made by those hours. So basically saying, hey, last month I made around, let's say $3,000 is how much money I made. And I had my 9 to 5. So divide that by 160. And that's going to be basically, hey, equals, that's around $18.75 per hour that I'm actually making. Now, by the way, this number is actually a lot lower than that when you calculate all the hidden costs that a job actually has. More on that in a later video. But then at least now you know exactly your track record, how much money you made for the past 12 months and how much that is per hour. Now, the second variable is going to be, well, what is your fixed expense? Now, that basically means how much money are you spending every single month? Now, what are your expenses? You have shelter, utilities, groceries, and transportation. Now, I want you to calculate that for the past 12 months also. Now, all of a sudden, this video just got super complicated, right? But if you don't want to do all that work, just put an estimate. So my estimate is literally, I have it right here, which I will actually show you guys. So right here is the whole like crossover point. I'll go more into detail later, but here are my expenses. I spend every single month about $1,072. Now, before you say that can't be real, that this guy only spends $1,072, you have to understand that I basically moved to Dominican Republic, so I don't spend that much money whatsoever because I don't need to spend that much money at all. So that's the idea. I only spend about $1,072 every so month. So I would put that number going back for the past 12 months or whatever. If I don't want to do all the work and see exactly how much I've been spending, which is actually a lot more than just $1,072. I spend a lot of money on dumb stuff for the past 12 months mostly. Now, once you have those two variables, which is basically your active income, how much money you make by trading your time for money, and also your fixed expenses, I want you to start writing down your passive income. Now, passive income is money you make without having to work really. So that might mean stocks, that might mean real estate, that might mean, for example, book royalties, that might mean several things out there. Even, for example, interest you get from your savings account where there's a high yield, or maybe interest you get from a CD, or you have a bond and you're getting paid interest, okay? There are several ways to make passive income. Now, the overall goal is to get your passive income to basically surpass your expenses. So here is what the equation actually looks like in action, okay? So here are the full data points, which I'm gonna show you guys right about now. Just give me 1 second. So right here, as you can see, I have 4 data points, really. So I have month, active income, passive income, expenses. So as you can see, active income has actually been going down. Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? The answer is it depends. Now, passive income has actually been increasing. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Obviously, in this case, it's going to be a good thing. And then my fixed expenses have basically stayed about the same, $1,072. So then what you want to do is this. This is what the crossover point graph actually looks like. So right here you have the active income, as you can see, and this line is actually going down. But as you can actually see down here, the red line is the passive income, the yellow line is actually the active income. And then finally here, around December of last year, you can actually see that the crossover point actually happened. It's when you make more passive income than you make from then you need to actually spend. So what happens now is you can actually stop working for money if you want to once you reach this point, because basically there's no need to keep working for money because you make more money passively than you do actively. So then you have 2 options here, right? One option is I'm going to keep working the same, making the same amount of money in order to basically build a better cushion for myself. That way I have even more money and the crossover point gets wider and wider. Another idea is, as you guys can actually see in this example, is, hey, this person is actually starting to lower his income for some purpose because, hey, now you can work less hours, meaning you make less money, but overall, since you don't need the money, you can actually spend more time doing the things you actually care about. That is the overall idea. So overall, guys, the crossover point is when you make more money passively than you actually need to spend. And to basically calculate this, you're going to need your active income, you're going to need your passive income equation, and then you're also going to need your fixed expenses. And the goal is to use your active income to invest and make yourself more passive income. Now, I'm going to have a video with more details and more numbers on how to do compound interest and how to calculate this over a long period of time. But for the most part, that is what the crossover point is, and that's basically what I wanted you guys to capture. That's the goal. To get to this goal is massive, and it takes years sometimes, but sometimes it can be done in less time, and that's why I'm making another video about that, okay? So subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys next time, and peace.